Anime fans, One Piece fans, what's good? And the answer to that question, of course, is One Piece. One Piece is what's good, and today we're going to be talking about how strong is Benn Beckman. So, Benn Beckman, a huge point of controversy in the community, like a lot of the things I talk about on this channel. Now, Beckman is there's a lot of confusing messages about him. So we know Beckman pointed the gun at Kizaru, and Kizaru held his hands up like, oh, it's Benn Beckman. But Kizaru was almost making fun of him, and he immediately went back to doing his own thing and attacking the Straw Hats and whatever. He just didn't fight Beckman. And the thing is, Beckman pointing the gun at Kizaru and Kizaru holding his hands up isn't any different from Marco physically overpowering Kizaru and kicking him into a wall. And people don't put the same kind of respect on Marco. You know what I'm saying? Lots of people still call him trash. So the gun thing isn't really anything to go crazy about. Now, there's something we should all learn from chapter 957. The thing with the One Piece community is we tend to get on these huge hype trains. Something is released in some kind of data book and we all go crazy. So the data book a while back, I'm not sure what was the data book, I forget exactly what it was, but it said that Shanks had the highest bounty among the Yonko. It was hinted at that, and everyone went crazy. The Yonko bounties come out, and of all the older Yonkos, or just all the Yonkos before Blackbeard, Shanks has the lowest bounty. Now, in hindsight, I figure, since Shanks became a Yonko 6 years ago, and another thing that was wrong in the data books, it said Shanks was a Yonko at the time of him meeting Luffy, but it turns out he actually wasn't. But it turns out he became a Yonko 6 years ago, so in hindsight, I think that the data books might have been trying to say that Shanks got his bounty, like, has the highest gained bounty in that short amount of time, or something to that effect. So that's what I'm saying, we don't want to get on these huge hype trains. And another thing a data book said is, it hinted that Benn Beckman was as strong as Shanks. It hinted he was as strong as Shanks, and that got everybody going crazy, and saying Benn Beckman is Yonko level. To be specific, it said that Benn Beckman is the moon to Shanks' son, his rival, and so people are saying Benn Beckman's Yonko level. I'm just gonna tell you straight up, I don't agree with that. That would take away a lot from Shanks and a lot of the lore of the Red Hair Pirates, and in 957, it did specifically call out Shanks' commanders for being super strong, so I'm not saying they're your average commanders. I still believe that Benn Beckman is probably the strongest Yonko commander, but I'm not going to put him on the Yonko tier because we know he seems to be an inventor type of guy, so it could be they were talking intellectually, sorry, it's hard to say that word, intellectually. So I'm just saying that the data books that are translated, lots of times we get the wrong context out of things. But how strong do I think Beckman is? I'm honestly gonna say I think he's Admiral level. So I made the whole video yesterday that Admirals are not Yonko level, and I still hold to that. I believe that Beckman is Admiral level. So Marco, is he Admiral level or something like that? He could be, but I believe that unlike with Yonkos, I believe there are tiers to Admirals. Like Sakazuki at Marineford was stronger than the Fujitora at Dressrosa. They were both Admirals. Sakazuki is now Yonko level, but when he was weak or pre-time skip, I think he was still stronger than Fujitora. So it could be that Beckman's like a Kizaru tier Admiral, and Marco's like a Fujitora tier Admiral, or something like that. I believe there's some gap between some Admirals, unlike with most Yonkos, so I think that Beckman would be a mid-tier Admiral. So just to put it in perspective, I kind of thought of Marineford Akainu as senior Admiral, Kizaru as like middle Admiral, and then you got guys like Fujitora who are around the lower tier of Admirals. I believe that Beckman would be somewhere around mid-tier Admiral. Like, I don't think he's gonna be doing all that stuff to Whitebeard, but I don't think he's so weak that he's gonna be getting defeated by other first hands. I still believe he's the strongest first hand. I just believe he's gonna be around middle tier Admiral, because the whole pointing the gun at Kizaru thing was pretty impressive. I'm not trying to take away from that. And the whole Sun and Moon with Shanks thing, I'm not saying that that doesn't mean he's stronger than other first hands or that he's really strong. I'm just saying that doesn't mean that he's Yonko level. We gotta be careful about these data books. and there's not a lot of things to go on to power scale Benn Beckman, so you kind of just have to go with your gut a little bit, and that's why I'm gonna say he's mid-tier Admiral at this point with the information I have, because a mid-tier Admiral being a Yonko's right hand is much more powerful than just Katakuri being Big Mom's right hand. That's still a higher thing, and a mid-tier Admiral could still be a rival to a Yonko level character, so he could still be the Moon to Shank's son anyway, and a lot of people don't think about this. The sun burns hotter, stronger, casts more light than a moon. Maybe that's being super literal with the analogy, and Shank still burns hotter than Beckman, but Benn Beckman still is his moon, you know what I'm saying? So that's really all I gotta say. I believe that Benn Beckman is mid-tier Admiral, or around Kizaru level, stronger than Fujitora, but weaker than, like, senior Admirals, like Akainu was pre-time skip. So yep, that's it for this video. Thanks for watching. If you enjoy my content, and only if you enjoy my content, like this video, subscribe, turn on notifications for more One Piece content, and share this video if you're a nice soul. And yep, I'll see you in the next video.